In the heart of the historic Ybor City district of Tampa, Florida, the Columbia restaurant has made history of its own. Not only is it the largest Spanish restaurant in all of Florida, it's the largest Spanish restaurant in the world.
It was official because back in 1965, General Franco himself proclaimed the Columbia restaurant to be the finest and largest Spanish restaurant in the world.
What started out in 1905 as a 60-seat cafe has become a 1,660-seat restaurant, expanding to 11 dining rooms and taking up an entire city block. The Columbia has 4 separate entrances, framed by exquisite hand-painted tiles and murals, some dating back as far as 1937. Inside, the lavishly ornate restaurant offers something for everyone.
Whether it be the cafe where you can feel the legends of Babe Ruth, DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe, where they sat in these same chairs that exist since 1930s, to the Don Quixote and the clattering of the flamenco dancers and the castanets, to the sunshine coming in the patio dining room, to the Siboney, where you're sitting in old Cuba. There's a room for everybody. There's a room for you. The most photographed dining room in the state of Florida is the patio dining room, built in 1937. One step inside, and you feel like you're in Andalusia, in the south of Spain. The King's Room is, when you walk in there, you feel like you're in the north of Spain. You can see the beautiful portraits of a local organization, the Cruz Santiago, that every year they elect a member to be king and one of the daughters to be queen. And so you come in there, and it's a beautiful facility for parties up to 60 people. The crown jewel probably of the Columbia came in 1956, when on New Year's Eve night, the forces of my father and my grandfather, they combined together, this wonderful restaurateur who was my grandfather and this wonderful entertaining musician, Caesar, my dad. And they opened up on New Year's Eve with the best in the Spanish and Cuban entertainment available. And since 1956, the Columbia has been featuring Spanish dance and promoting the Cuban culture as well.
Founded in 1905 by Cuban immigrant Casimiro Hernandez Sr., the Columbia is still run by family members, now from the 4th and 5th generations. But loyalty is not limited to family. Many of the Columbia staff members remain here for decades, like retired pianist Henry Tudello,
who was recognized by Guinness World Records as the longest gig. He played here, playing the piano for 64 years. He started every evening with a martini and sat at the piano and playing the classics. Or there's Lula Mae Toloman, who's been with us 48 years, a ladies' room attendant.
These are some of the famous people that I really met up with. I think famous. Marilyn Monroe, Ybor, Liza Minnelli. I met many famous people here since I've been working here, you know. I love it. It's an interesting job. And the people are so nice to me.
And then there's Joe Roman, 50 years working now this year as an ambassador, telling the story of the Columbia. He's worked here half the time of our restaurant's existence.
Enjoy it. I'm so glad to see you. I worked for the Columbia 50 years as a waiter. And then I retired, and I came back in a couple of months and talked to Richard that I had a lot of time in my hands. So he says, well, you can come anytime you want to. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and tell your friends about how much you enjoy the lunch at the Columbia. And I do a lot of tours, you know, check out everybody would like to see the house. And this is a museum besides being the restaurant.
The Chandelier was purchased in 1974 from the Eden Rock Hotel by my mom and dad at an auction. At the time, they bought it for $3,000. It has 180 beautiful prisms, all handmade, hand-forged. And today it's valued at over $250,000. It's not just a restaurant, it's not just a business, it's not a place for people to come to work. It's a group of people that care about each other, that care about their guests, that care about the owners. It's what makes it special.
Special, even when it comes to the Columbia Cigar Bar. It's been called America's original cigar bar.
And Cigar Aficionado gave us that title. Smoke Magazine also recognized us as the oldest cigar bar in America. It's where it all started. The cigar rollers and these great cigars. Today we can't smoke cigars due to the state laws, but we encourage you to grab your cigar, put it in your mouth, have a pour it, and just relive the history. Then light it up, step outside, have a great smoke.
Today, the Colombia has their own cigar factory where Roberto Ramirez, a Grand Master Torcedor, can be found doing the lost art of handcrafting cigars, where more than 55,000 cigars can be found in the humidor. Tradition is also part of the Colombia's nightly entertainment as dancers perform flamenco, salsa, and classic Spanish dances to the delight of diners.
And you can capture the entertainment in probably one of 3 dining rooms. It's unique. When you come in, you see the chaos of the people, the action, the life. It's just so much fun to walk through the restaurant. And when you see 1,600 people dining and everybody cheering and having fun, then I know I've succeeded.
And authentic is the only way to describe the Colombia's award-winning Spanish-Cuban cuisine. Each night, the Colombia serves at least a couple hundred orders of paella, the national dish of Spain. It's food and festivities like these that keep customers coming to the Colombia.
Oh yes, the atmosphere, definitely the atmosphere. It's nice, inviting, the service is always great, and the food is excellent.
I love Colombia Restaurant. I come here all the time. It's the best yellow rice and chicken in town.
But perhaps the ultimate compliment is from those who know what the Colombia represents.
Cal is beautiful, all the glass, and I mean, it's just a beautiful place. I don't think I've experienced a setting like this before. I mean, it's just beautiful.
The Spanish atmosphere, from the way that the waiters and waitresses dress, to the whole room, the decor, you just feel like you're in a different place. You got a character and a class when you walk, a feeling you walk in here you don't get in any other restaurant. And it's authentic, it's not fake, it's not a facade. This is who the people are here, what this restaurant is.
You won't find anything else like this in the world. Forget it.
So whether you're interested in your homeland or want to experience international flavors, there is plenty of room at the world's largest Spanish restaurant, Tampa, Florida's Colombia Restaurant. Olé!